So we're moving to the last panel session of the day, which is looking at biometrics and authentication. But before we do that, we're going to have a short presentation by Matthew Hornsey, Head of Products and Purchasing at TMT ID. And we're looking at critical identifiers within customer lifecycle assurance.
Very good. Thank you very much. Okay, very good. Thank you very much for that kind introduction. So just a little bit about TMT. We specialize in minting mobile identities. What are those? They are identities that are based on three critical components: number intelligence, the mobile identity itself, and then the mobile intelligence we glean from those interactions. What is number intelligence? Effectively, in order to create and establish an identity, we believe the mobile phone number is a critical part of that. More and more journeys are moving mobile, more and more journeys are starting mobile. So one of those critical identifiers is your mobile phone number. It has a history, whether that's with me or with someone else or many people. So the first thing that we need to do is establish that lifetime context. We also have to establish that real-world, real-time application. Where is that number right now? So that is number intelligence, building the backstory of the identity. We then mint that into a mobile identity when we pair that with data that's provided to us by businesses, by enterprises, by channel partners who need to tie that to personal information. So now we have an identifier that's linked to me, my name, my address, my date of birth, and that can all be done cryptographically securely using some of the methods that you've seen here today through authentication, number verify, and I'll show you that working shortly. We then take that mobile identity and the transactions that it's being used for, which can be anything from logging into your bank to checking out on a retail store. We look at what we see within that, but effectively what we call network biometrics, which is the interactions of that data through the mobile networks, through your use of your mobile phone, and what's happening in the background to protect against account takeover, person-in-the-middle attacks, and make sure that that identity is still you. And we bring that back into the beginning of the journey with the next person, the next business to request information about that number now knows more because we're able to give it more certainty or less certainty. Effectively build or decay trust around that mobile identity. Why do we think mobile identities are so important? Is we believe they are one of the very few things that live with us all the time. They live with us at every point in many of the interactions we do with enterprises and businesses. As I mentioned, that number intelligence is important because we need to know what that number's been used with before. Where is it? Is it safe? Is it a good number? Then we can associate that number at a point of onboarding to personal information. We can also proof possession. We can prove that that mobile phone number is the one in use to register at this point. Interacting with that customer all through its life cycle are moments in time when I, as a customer, are talking to that business, reproving who I am, authenticating, authorizing payments. All of these things, mobile intelligence, mobile identities can play a role in reasserting, revalidating. And effectively, all of that then surfaces mobile intelligence. And critically, customer offboarding is just as important as customer onboarding. Many businesses forget to realize that customers choose to leave them. And so they continue to communicate or exchange private personal information or indeed security information with those identifiers. Mobile gives you an opportunity to see when that break occurs, see when that number is no longer attached to the same identity or becomes untrusted or decays in risk. And then the number goes on to have another lifetime. And mobile intelligence can provide that holistic overview. If you look at it another way, not just in a timeline, every day we're interacting in different ways with different businesses for different purposes. All of that information is surfacing insights in real time that can be used to proof my identity. But picking up a number of the things, and we're going to talk about this on the panel, a big problem that we've had is education, but is application, right? This exists today, but it's only existing in fraud prevention. There are so many other applications that mobile intelligence and a mobile identity can be used for, but it's not understood, it's not recognized. So one of the big things that we see is proving and showing how it can be used, and I'll show you that very quickly in a moment. So we like to think of this as mobile identity as a service. If we start with number verify, we can prove possession. We can authenticate the user securely through cryptographic environment. We can then link and associate that to real personal information. We can then apply that and validate that with different subsets of information and attributes based on what's being needed at the different points in the customer lifecycle. And we can ultimately go all the way through to a happy customer. But again, we can use that example of, for example, a delivery to start the process again, to reprove that that delivery occurred. And that's why mobile intelligence and mobile identity can sit across this lifecycle. And if you're lucky enough to have customers and enterprise partners, you can learn through feedbacks and insights as to whether that is a true outcome and build and decay your model accordingly. So if it works, I'm just going to show you one quick thing. This is mobile identity in real-world application. There's many different ways I could demonstrate this: banking, age-restricted commerce, gaming and gambling. But since it came up today, I'm going to show you age. So if I sign in here with a mobile phone number in real time, we're going to request an authorization and age verification of this user. So we established that this number is on AE. It has good number intelligence. We're now doing a number verify check in real time, authenticating that user is coming from that mobile phone number, and we're doing an age verification based on KYC information inside the telco. Now, I'm being presented with two choices, just to evidence how more we can do with just mobile data. Right now, if I'm a child or an adult, I can click through and browse children's content because I proved that I'm an adult. So theoretically, I can watch at least children's cartoons. Because I came from the number I said, that number wasn't on the family plan, and it was age verified by an identity document at KYC level. If I go back and I say that I'm an adult, you heard it mentioned before, we go on to call content lock and parental lock when it's available. So content lock means I've checked that there's no content lock barring me from viewing adult content, and parental lock means if I purchase this as a parent, I haven't given it to a child and asked the operator to protect them effectively. So now at this point, just using a mobile phone number, I've done 4 safety checks. Is it the phone number that someone's coming from in session? Are they of age, and are there any restrictions on their service? It's still not good enough, but you can do this today, at least in the UK. So if I just switch back so we can get to the panel, the biggest issue is collaboration. We need more, right? The market is changing. Regulation is opening opportunities, it really is, right? Particularly in age verification, but in other worlds. SMS OTP, you've heard of all these challenges today. But security threats are also changing that world, and we need to move on. So one solution is good. I've just shown you one way that mobile intelligence and mobile identity is good, but it's not good enough. If we can work together and introduce what many of you do in the room into that mix, we can go all the way, never quite to the silver bullet, as we've discussed, but we can go a long way further to providing a reliable identity that morphs as the industry changes and as we go forward. And that's just a very quick introduction to what we do at TMT, and hopefully an enabler for the panel.
Brilliant. Thank you.